are satiric reviews. You don't have to agree, but don't bitch about it.
Hey there, I'm Social Injustice Warrior V Infuso, and today we're going to talk about one of the most infamous moments in wrestling history. We're talking about the corn piece in this wrestle crap. We're talking about what so many people consider a contributing factor as to why WCW no longer exists. We're talking, of course, about the Fingerpoke of Doom. Now, before we get into the event itself, let's discuss the events leading up to this event. God damn it, I need a new dictionary. Leading up to this match was the destruction of the NWO. Once the biggest stable in more ways than one, not only in the company at the time, but in the wrestling world. The NWO, which originally started out as a three-man team, soon grew to incredible numbers, with Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash acting as the founding fathers. The stable grew to ridiculous ranks, and at one point, I think there might have been more wrestlers in the NWO than standalone WCW wrestlers. And with so many personalities and egos in one place, the group eventually imploded. Their crusade against the WCW became a war within themselves, dividing the mega stable into two parts. The NWO Wolfpack, a new stable donning the NWO logo in black and red colors, being led by defector Kevin Nash, and NWO Hollywood, the original black and white stable led by Hollywood Hulk Hogan. A lot happened during the course of this feud, and I may have already made a video on this situation. But to summarize really quick, the teams feuded, people within the teams feuded, Hogan retired from wrestling, said he was running for president, and unfortunately, we'd have to wait a few more years for a WWE Hall of Famer to be indoctrinated into office. I think it was worth the wait. How about you guys? Oh yeah, definitely worth the wait. Hogan eventually returned to the company, agreeing to take on his rival Wolfpack leader, Kevin Nash. Hogan eventually returned to the company, agreeing to take on his rival and Wolfpack leader, Kevin Nash, for the World Heavyweight Championship. And the fans came unglued. I mean, this was two leaders of warring factions going head-to-head in the main event of Nitro in a title match. How do you not get pumped for that? This is two legends, two stars in this business, two future Hall of Famers, and the two rarely shared a ring in the midst of their feud. I mean, their back and forth pretty much amounted to mostly snide remarks and passing promos.
You got a problem with me? Well, it seems to me that we got a little problem about trust. Hogan, you wondered who was gonna drive a stake through your heart? Well, buddy boy, you're looking at him. Behind you, there may be many waiting to stick a knife in your back. You don't have to worry about me, because I'll shoot you right between the eyes. If you're the boss, you're our leader, why doesn't my buddy Six have a job anymore here? Why isn't Scott Hall on TV? As far as your little teeny buddy Six-Pac goes, he can't cut the mustard. As your man Scott Hall, I don't have a clue where he's at. When Hollywood was ruling your world, Kevin Nash and Mr. Scott Hall were looking for direction. I know for a fact, Hogan, that you don't sit around your house and listen to Mac 10. It's not too sweet, it's too sweet. It's not for life, it's for life. When I was selling out the world, brother, they were at home, shaking in their boots, thinking about going to wrestling school. It gets your old, burnt out, gray-haired, skinny-legged, wannabe rear end out here.
You think the foundation, the red and black, is so solid? Well, it's just as shaky as those skinny little legs under that big body of yours. A lot. You like that skinny legs, don't you, Giant? I said skinny legs.
Oh, my.
He's got skinny arms compared to yours, too.
Before you open your mouth, why don't you take your wife's sunglasses off?
You've been checking me out awfully hard, man. Always talking about my skinny legs. Let me tell you something, Hollywood. You know it's a fact. They ain't all so skinny.
But now they're going one-on-one. This was a big deal, and the fans definitely treated it as such.
TNT, and here he is!
And now making his entrance to the ring at this time, undisputed WCW and WWF,
Kevin Nash, but why not? Look at the man who's taken the Wolfpack man into new heights.
This is happens. We're staying with it here tonight. Taking their time with each other.
And how did that go?
Excuse me, the fuck?
And I'm sorry, did Hulk Hogan just poke a man to death? Should rephrase that one. I'll tell you what, well, after watching this, I think it's pretty clear that Hulk Hogan was using that creative control clause again. I mean, that is the most clean I've ever seen somebody get put over. Now, as bad as this moment is, this isn't the first time we'd see something like this. Why, not too long before this did the WWF do almost the exact same thing. As a matter of fact, we spoke about this just recently. The team of DX, that being Shawn Michaels and Triple H, were pitted against each other in a match for Shawn's European Championship.
Shawn Michaels, you have not defended your European title in 30 days.
I've been busy, in case you haven't noticed, chump change. I'm the World Wrestling Federation champion, and don't you forget it.
You're either going to defend that title here tonight on Raw, or I'm going to strip you of that title here tonight on Raw.
I will defend this title against anybody, anywhere, anytime.
Your opponent tonight will be Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Oh, that's not what they wanted. No, all you're trying to do is ruin DX. You're trying to ruin Shawn Michaels' Christmas with me beating him and taking the European title from him.
I was with you up until the point where you said you'd beat me. You don't get to wear a belt on each shoulder by being a loser.
Shawn Michaels, Triple H, the European Championship on the line. China, she's caught in the middle.
They'd spend the entire episode of Raw building up to this match, with Michaels and Triple H both thinking they could best their best friend. And when the bell finally rang...
Anticipated casket match with The Undertaker, collar elbow tying there. Well, one of them, Helmsley's slow down. We thought that they got us.
Never has any match been so emotionally, physically, and mentally draining.
Oh.
This is the greatest moment of my life. You sons! I did it! I did it!
And shocking to say, this moment worked. Wrestling fans who remember this remember it with some kind of fondness. So why is it that the Fingerpoke of Doom gets so much heat? I mean, it was basically the same thing, right? No. No, it wasn't. And I'm going to tell you why. Get ready for a list here because it's not just one or two reasons. These two swerves were night and day. Shawn and Triple H were facing each other for the European Championship, a secondary title, whereas Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash were competing for their company's World Championship, the grand prize of that company. Nash willingly dropped the belt to Hogan. Why? Why would he do that? Because at least with Shawn, it made more sense. Shawn was both the European champion and the WWF champion at the time. Him dropping a secondary title to his best friend makes sense, considering that he still left that night with the more important title around his waist, or more accurately, over his shoulder. Why would Kevin Nash willingly lose the belt to Hulk? First off, it makes him look like a first-rate chump. The guy built up so much credibility with the audience, all to fall back in line when Hogan told him to? That seems a little bit out of character, and a lot of bit stupid. Shawn and Hunter were best friends pitted against each other earlier on that night by Sergeant Slaughter, the at-the-time commissioner and their at-the-time rival. The match itself was part of a bigger story of Hunter and Shawn versus the establishment, whereas Hogan and Nash had legitimately been feuding for quite some time before this. And this Nitro main event was seemingly gonna be the blow-off to that feud, or at the very least the next chapter in it. This was the leader of the NWO versus the leader of the NWO Wolfpack, going mano-a-mano in front of a roaring crowd. This was two legends of the industry in the middle of a heated feud going at it for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. An entirely different context from the WWF situation. Shawn and Hunter's refusal to fight and decision to badly fake their match was getting one over on Sergeant Slaughter, the guy who forced them into that match. The act of this prank would continue to personify their anti-authority gimmick, play up their friendship, and create another memorable moment for their feud with the company at the time. Hogan and Nash weren't getting one over on any backstage official. They were getting one over on the audience, in the middle of their rivalry, thus robbing the fans of a match they really wanted to see, bringing a sad close to a long-term feud, and presenting a moment fans will never forget, but all for the wrong reasons. This was bad. This is as bad as you remember it being. It's probably even worse. This is one of those situations where it's bad up close, but the more you zoom out from the situation, the more context you see, you realize it's even worse. It just keeps getting worse. You zoom out more, it worsens. So with that being said, I'm the social injustice warrior V Infuso, and if you like the words that came out of my mouth hole and you too want to become a VTard, don't forget to like and subscribe. There's plenty more where this video came from. Follow me on Twitter because, hell, why not? It's not considered stalking if it's on the internet, am I right? And don't forget to join the Discord. I don't have anything catchy to add to that, but just join it. Just go do it. And if you have a free moment of time and a free $1 to spare, then head over to my Patreon, where for just $1, you too could help keep this boat afloat. And if you don't have that $1, but you do have a free moment of time, then hit the share button. It will help me out tremendously.
VTards, oh.